You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Job, Zane.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV's WWE NXT After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE NXT After Show.
In honor of our NXT champion, Bo Dallas, defending his title tonight against Adrian Neville. Little journey, little don't stop believing. Hello, everybody. I am Ryan Clum.
Don't stop.
Welcome to AfterBuzz TV's NXT AfterBuzz After Show. I'm your host, Ryan Clum. Back this week. I was gone last week for a little Thanksgiving, but in my place was doing a much better job than I could have ever done was Cathy, Kelley, who is back with us today.
Hey, everyone.
And next to her, championship wrestling from Hollywood superstar,
I
the
try.
Hobo.
I succeed, larger than life, and here I am again today to entertain y'all.
You can see him on MAV TV, what, Wednesday nights, I think it is?
I have no idea.
Yeah, most
Check
people,
your local
most
listings.
people don't know what MAV
just
TV
watch
is, but you
every
probably
single night.
you probably have it. So, so anyways, pretty good NXT here this week. I think this was like number 3 in a row at least. I mean, they're always good.
Yeah.
But the last several weeks have been tremendous.
I think this week it was good. It wasn't like me on the edge of my seat like the Beat the Clock challenge and last week's. The last 2 weeks I think were phenomenal. This week was a good show. It's great that they're consistent.
Yeah, I think I think those weeks he had those definitely had the big match last week and the Beat the Clock, but there were several good matches on this
my gosh,
one tonight.
there were amazing matches.
Absolutely
tonight.
great matches
that's what I
tonight. The matches had me on the edge of my seat tonight, despite not having a theme or a specific sort of catch to them. But man,
well, we had the title.
Solid matches.
It was leading up to the title match,
right,
which is really what
but, I mean,
it was.
I'm talking about a gimmick. Like
Yeah,
the
you're
Beat the
right.
Clock
The
type
Beat the
deal.
Clock.
So I think the reason why it was a good show and not superb outstanding show for me was just that the matches, the outcome were predictable for all of them.
Okay.
Like I knew that Natty wasn't gonna win. Like everyone kind of knew that. I had a very strong feeling that Bo was gonna retain. Like all those things. So
well, let's get into it. We started with Antonio Cesaro giving a message to William Regal, Sir William Regal. And he said, "Don't stick your nose into my business, sunshine. It's not going to end well."
In his best English accent.
Yes.
Swedish English.
Yeah. In a language he understands. So then Leo Kruger shows up and thanks Antonio Cesaro. Says he has put him into a place that he hasn't been in a long time. And said that he wants to be a real American and mentioned that Cesaro has a past with Zane. So they kind of talk a little bit. And
they're doing a setup, a possible alliance down the road.
Something going on. Cesaro says he'll talk to Zeb.
I don't see Leo Kruger as a real American.
You don't say.
I mean, not because he is not American, but for other reasons as well. He just doesn't seem like he would mesh well with that group.
I think this is a one-time deal. This is a handshake agreement. This is not a long-term.
And it's, Leo Kruger fulfills his end and Cesaro doesn't necessarily.
Absolutely.
And
Everybody gets stroked, but it's going to be short-lived.
And I've heard rumors of a possible gimmick change for Leo Kruger. There were some pictures going out there of a repackaging potentially. I forget, he was doing some other gimmick. I think it was at a house show. I don't think they've taped anything yet.
I don't like the whispering. I hate when that happens, and I've seen it maybe 2 or 3 times since I've started watching WWE or NXT. I don't like it because I feel like...
What whispering are you referring
Did you
to?
hear
They
Cesaro? He's
turn
like,
their back to
this
the
is what
camera
we're
and
gonna
we're...
do.
That when they... I got you. So like, we're we're not going to tell you to the
make
camera.
Make it loud enough so we can kind of hear, because this is stupid. I just want to know what's going on. Yeah.
I agree.
But it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It also makes
a
me
whisper
think,
in front of a camera is always going to be cheesy.
Yeah, you know, and honestly, I agree with you, but it works for the current WWE PG style.
I know, but if
it does. It's the Muppet Show.
If I'm dissecting
it's the little, winking, breaking of the fourth wall, which I agree I don't really like.
If I'm dissecting it, I'm thinking that the writers don't know what to do, and they're like, oh, well, we can just fill in this gap later.
Yeah, and I mean, how much was it a writer? Did Cesaro improv that? I don't know, but I agree with you. It's
rather
cheesy.
should they have done than the whisper thing?
Okay, here's our deal. And then
just
they say the
straight up-
deal.
Or-
I want to know the deal.
Never tell your opponent your plan.
No, or how about
It's not
this?
telling the opponent.
Let's go talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
We walk away.
Yeah.
We see those all the time. Hey, I got an idea. Let's go over here and let's go have a little chat away from the cameras.
Yeah.
That's the. I mean,
I like
that's
that.
the
I
way
like
they usually do it.
Yeah.
So that's
I feel
the
like
best
it
way.
was almost, I don't want to say dead air, but it was 10
It was
seconds
quiet.
of air
It
that
was-
they could have done something else with.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So we get our first match of the night, which is for the Divas, or I'm sorry, the NXT Women's Championship.
Yes.
Paige versus Natalya, which is awesome. These
Oh my God.
very similar backgrounds. They kept referring to as Natalya from the Heart Dungeon and Paige from her, I forget her family's name, but very, very well known in England. There's a great documentary called, we've mentioned many times, The Wrestlers Fighting with My Family, I believe. You can find it. It's about an hour. It was a made-for-TV, I believe, documentary in England.
I have to say
awesome.
that since I've met Clem, he has forced dozens of videos on me, and he told me to watch this documentary, and it is actually very much worth
Actually,
it.
it's been dozens of texts
So
of
I
like
can
2
attest to
different
that.
links because she won't watch them. So I just keep sending the same links over and over. I've sent her the last Knockout Standard match like 9 times.
I'm not gonna watch a video that's 60 minutes long on my phone. Email it to me.
I
Well,
sent
but
it
I
to
mean,
you in
you can-
15 minutes, and you have the link. You
manage
can
to
watch
go
it
from
on
one
your
thing to
computer.
another. Yeah.
Anyways,
But this was any true wrestling
a good
fan's
documentary.
dream.
Yeah.
This match.
and some great chain wrestling to start this off between the two
Tit
two
for
girls.
tat, back and forth. They were equals.
Yeah.
They really were.
I really love that. And we go to break and then we come back and Paige is on fire and it's like, what happened?
and they didn't show us.
They didn't show us. I would have liked to see a replay
Yeah.
at this point.
They said it was Natalya went for a handshake, and managed to get an offensive on that. Then Paige managed to counter that, I assume.
Yeah, Paige took offense to almost a cheap shot, it sounded like, by Natalya. But I mean, hey, you got to do what you can to win.
Especially against an opponent you believe is strong. Never underestimate your opponent. Never.
Paige locks in the abdominal stretch on Natalya, which she eventually reverses. And I mean, I know you know, and I know this is not a comfortable thing to be in.
No,
you grow up watching. It's like, oh, how bad is that really?
No, it's really bad.
It hurts
Really?
bad.
I've had days where I can't walk after getting an
you can
abdominal
really
stretch. I'm not kidding.
mess someone's back up. It hurts.
Yeah.
It looked cool.
Yeah, it looks it's a great move, and it's a great move too if your heel grab that rope when the referee's not looking.
If you got a partner on the outside grabbing the arm, doing the tug.
Add a little bit more pressure to that. But I will tell you, that move is a shoot. If you're in that does not feel good.
No.
At all. I hate being in those. It's like, really. So anyways, Natty, one thing I thought was awesome is Natty counters the knees of Paige.
Yeah.
Paige comes with the knees that we see so much, and Natty counters that, obviously scouted very well.
Yeah.
Takes over a little bit, eventually locks in the sharpshooter, and Paige has such an amazing counter to this, where she actually crawls to the corner of the turnbuckle and does a roll and rolls Natalya right into the turnbuckle.
Strength and ring awareness.
Yeah.
Know where you are at all times
Very
in that
important.
ring and use that to your advantage. And she was just lucky enough to either have the leverage or the strength to roll through and get the advantage and reverse that dangerous hold.
Very, very dangerous. and she was in that in that hold for a minute. That's not fun. That's not fun to be in either.
No, it's not.
Natalya gets up. They both kind of get up, get to each other. Paige hits the page turner and gets the win. And we had about this one almost 15 minutes.
Yeah.
With whatever the commercials have been, probably a good they probably were given at least 15 minutes on this.
And they deserved it.
Yeah.
So much.
Absolutely. I'm almost glad we didn't get to see it last week.
Yeah, and that was something that we mentioned when you weren't here last week was it sounded like they had set up the match for that night. And so I'm glad we finally got to see it. I wish that was a little bit more clear last week, but I'm so happy that we finally did get to see this match because
you didn't need it
so
last week with
good.
the main event.
Yeah,
last week.
with everything going on.
Yeah,
it stood alone by itself.
That needed to. Yeah,
it was. And seeing both of them celebrate after this match was really, it solidified the importance of this match.
I mean, this match is probably better than almost any match, Divas match on the main roster that's been on a pay-per-view in how long?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to go back, I think, pretty far to find a Divas match that was better than this. Even though Brie had a great one at SummerSlam. Brie and Natty at SummerSlam had a great match. So, but you know, if this is what WWE's future is, and I hope it is. I hope they don't just take these girls and start messing with the, I think the future is bright as far as the Divas division goes.
This puts the Survivor Series Divas match to shame.
Oh my God, yeah.
Twice as long and way more than twice as good.
This is what it should be. This is what all of the Divas division should be.
Right.
They raised the bar almost too high to reach.
And this is what happens when you have wrestlers. This is what happens when you have real wrestlers
Two
out
people
there
who
are both
know
beautiful.
their craft.
Yeah.
And are quite attractive.
Yeah. There are beautiful real wrestlers out there, that you don't have to hire the models.
Stop hiring the models.
There is a place for that, but not solely a place for that. The models have gotten us Trish Stratus. The models got us Tori Wilson and Stacy Keibler, and so there definitely there's a place for that. But I think it had become only that for a long time.
And then you're looking at those specific individuals who have gone on to cement their legacy, have really put themselves out there and perfected what they do. And it only happens with so many.
Absolutely.
You're not going to get that with all of them.
No, you're not going to get that with all of them.
In most cases, it's going to be a pretty sad state of affairs, as we've seen.
Yeah, and they have a few of those girls. Sasha came from the Indies. Bailey came from the Indies. So there's a bunch of girls from the Indies right now.
Do you think that the WWE is now listening to what the fans want and realizing that they want girls that are not just drop-dead gorgeous? They want girls with substance and girls that can wrestle.
I don't know who they're listening to.
They don't just want ornaments.
Here's the problem. The fans really don't care. They do just want models.
And
your average fan is not that
bright.
bright.
I would disagree. I think that they want both. Who doesn't want the total package of both?
And
I don't think that they care.
It's harder to find.
It's harder
to find, but they clearly have found it with Paige.
Yeah, we were talking last Sunday with local promoter Dave Marquez just about WWE, and he was saying, what we might look at as a problem and something like that, they don't, because they're making money. That's their this is a corporation. They're putting out a product.
But they could make money and make their fans happy.
Right, but it's not about art for them anymore. It's about putting out the mass product. Yeah, it's the bottom line. So it's unfortunate, and really what's going to have to happen for that to change is somehow some other company or something to come in and kick down the door and force them to change. That happened in the Attitude Era. That's the only way it's going to change, or we're going to get this forever.
Or Paige will go up to the main roster and everyone will realize, and they'll be like, no, we want this from now on.
I know, or she goes up to the main roster and they sanitize her.
It's possible.
That's
what they did. That's what they did with
take
Natalya.
Baby wipes to her? What do you mean by sanitize?
Just start giving her 2 minutes. Start not letting her say her stuff.
Look at what they did with Natty Needard on the main roster.
You can't scream anymore. Like, tell her stuff like that. We don't want you to do your scream thing anymore. They'll do that to people. They'll start to take away moves from them
because they don't want to make the rest of their Divas division look bad. Yeah. So they'll have the good ones tone it down.
Okay, so they would have Paige if she ever went up to the main roster. They have AJ. They have Natty.
Can't use logic.
They have
Can't use
Tamina.
logic.
They
use
have
logic.
Naomi. They have all these great girls.
They have to make
and,
the bad girls look credible. And as a result, all of the really good talent has to dumb it way down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's how it works. And until the bare minimum talent has raised its level, we're going to see just what we have been seeing.
That makes me sad.
I know.
Makes
It's
all of us very
So-
sad, because all of us are actually wrestling fans,
Yes.
not the casual observer. No, sir, not today.
So we go to Alexander Rusev in the back with Lana, who is speaking a whole bunch of Russian to him. And Tyler Breeze, my man, shows up and comes and wants to thank him for his help with Cassius Ohno last week. And Lana says they appreciate his gracious services and basically tell him to get out of there.
Yeah.
And then Lana just speaks a bunch of Russian, says crush Ohno, NXT title with.
How much longer are we gonna hear about Ohno? It's kind of weird at this point. Like, I don't mind it, but it's just like everyone knows.
It's a question of how far behind are we?
I mean,
Yeah.
I gotta believe
A month.
I gotta believe we're ending. I mean, maybe next
be
week.
getting
I
close.
never read ahead, so I don't know what
Right, I
they've
don't
taped.
either.
So Rusev, I gotta believe they've had that blowout match. Maybe that's next week. I don't know.
I like to think
or they
that-
just
Or they
or they
just
just dumped the whole thing.
It's possible that they did that, but I don't want to see that. I want to see
Yeah.
this whole thing come to fruition, big come, and then have him leave. You know,
Yeah.
it sort of writes itself.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're not quite there yet, but
Yeah.
there's some interesting stuff with Ohno
But
later.
with
Anyways,
these backstage segments, you start to see a pattern. We see alliances being formed, possibly tentative alliances.
yes.
I like these backstage segments that we've been seeing the last couple of weeks as well, where they add more to the storyline, because I feel like there were a couple in there, not necessarily recently, but several months ago, that just they seemed like filler.
Yeah.
So
A lot of time they are.
Yeah, they
these
can
haven't
be.
been though.
No,
they've been
it's
good.
been good. We get another little kind of backstage thing next with Mojo Rawley, and he says he doesn't get hyped. He stays hyped. He's more motivated now than ever, and he's working harder than ever to win that NXT title. Now that he's got a couple matches under his belt.
Yep.
And then Sylvester Lefort comes in, basically starts to try to recruit him, says he can make all his dreams
Another
come true.
possible alliance.
And Mojo says, I know agents like you from the NFL. I've seen this before. I've heard Dawson's checks are bouncing, and they get into a whole little thing about that. And they set up a match for next week between Dawson and Rawley. And I'll tell you, Mojo Rawley's growing on me. This guy's really likable.
There's something
Yeah.
about him.
His personality.
He's got the mojo.
It's honestly, I think what it is, he meshes his wrestling personality with his real life. And there are certain things that he says, like when he said, "Oh, I've been stiffed by football people, people in my football career in the past." It's real.
Right, yeah.
So you're automatically connecting with him because
Right.
of that sincerity
Yeah.
behind it.
I was thinking, we always hear guys like, oh man, if we could only take this person's personality and somehow translate it into a wrestling character, you always hear about these guys with their great behind the scenes personalities that they can't be able to figure to translate. That's exactly what Mojo Rawley, it feels like to me, that it's taken that who he is and he's just figured out how to translate that into a character.
Yeah.
And someone like, I'd like to see someone like Big E do that. Some of the things like we always talk about seeing him and
I think
Christian
he's doing more
Rosenberg
about
actually sent me an Instagram from Biggie today. He sent it to me on Facebook, and it was Biggie, and it was a stuffed animal My Little Pony, and it was like slow motion dancing.
Oh my
and then
God.
it's him slow motion dancing with like his unbuttoned shirt, and then it's Caitlyn like slow motion dancing. It's hilarious.
that's
It's
funny.
15 seconds, and it was worth.
Caitlyn just got
every one of those.
engaged.
Oh,
To
Yeah.
whom?
Another power lifter?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can handle that
so,
in a sec.
yeah,
boy.
exactly.
Not
So,
Sheamus.
congratulations
where was
to
that
them.
rumor coming from? That she was like
Oh, I don't
dating
know.
Sheamus a couple months
Oh,
when
I never
he
heard
was
that.
he got injured, and then everyone was like, "Oh, Caitlyn's off the roster because she's dating Sheamus and she's tending to him. She's his
Oh,
nurse."
I never heard that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird
And then
There's
she's
a lot
engaged
of-
to some random other
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
Weird, man.
I've heard a lot of weird things on the internet about new
rumor
Wyatt
mills are
new
always
Wyatt
awesome.
family members and all kinds of craziness.
You really got all of those rumors you can
Judas.
believe as much as can fit on your fingernail.
Exactly. So we get Aiden English against. I have a bunch of question marks written on my piece of paper. I don't know who it is. Cathy liked them though.
Aiden English came out and stole this man's thunder. He didn't even get his name announced. He was a no-name.
No.
Terrible.
You know, I just wrote squash director's cut down for this. You know, this was just Aiden English at his best. Or would you like to comment about the opponent?
Another match that is predictable tonight because you know if they don't even announce the person's name.
Yeah, he didn't get an entrance and he doesn't have a name. He's gonna lose.
Yeah, I mean you know, at this point, I think it's time because we've been seeing these squashers with Aiden and they've just been building up the character, doing the slow build with him.
Well, I guess a slow build.
He's over though.
He is over. He's over.
Wicked over.
And I'd love to see. I think it's time to put him into a feud. Let's get him into a program.
Yes.
I'd like to see him with someone like an Adrian Neville. I think could be very interesting.
He looks really strong, and I think that all of these squash matches just make me think of him as like, I don't know, he's stagnant. Like, he hasn't taken on anyone that we know is really strong.
Not yet.
And that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, it's time. And it's time to start doing that.
I think the problem they may be having is he's over with the fans, yet he's a bad guy, you know? Mm-hmm. So who do you put him against? You can't put him, maybe you put him against a worse bad guy, which then makes him a good guy. Or you put him against a good guy, which makes him a bad guy, which may kill him with the crowd.
Or let's just send him up to the main roster and figure out up there because...
I mean, they had the...
I think character's ready.
It is, but they need to know what to do.
He's so young though, right?
They gotta have a game plan.
He is very young. He's very young.
And he just debuted... Okay, so... This would be a very similar feud to Tyler Breeze and CJ Parker, but Aiden English and CJ Parker.
And you see what happened there. The feud didn't work.
The feud
just didn't work.
Yeah.
I liked the feud, honestly. I thought it was entertaining.
It was, but it didn't.
It didn't have lasting.
It was it was like a lower level, you know, first match feud on TV feud.
And the crowd was silent because they didn't quite know what to do with it. And I think that's why they're waiting on English. He's great. He's over. They just gotta get a plan and then
they gotta figure that out. I love the roses still. Get the encore. We got the encore, and that's what it's about. Let's get him out here. Let's hear him singing. Let's show his moveset off a little bit. Give him an encore. Get the roses in. That's what.
You know what I realized? Somebody is live accompanying him when he's singing. It cannot be recorded.
No, what that is from what I understand, it is done in post production.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, very interesting.
That is not live because they have to play the music to what he's created.
Right.
So he's riffing out there, and so from what I understand,
really?
the music is added in post production.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I mean, what you're gonna need to do when it goes to the main roster with that is have a live piano player accompanying him or something like that.
Which then gives a management
huge
role.
Budget.
Yeah, which is there's budget, but that's not going to happen until your main roster.
Or he just has to come up with his songs a couple days in advance.
Yeah,
I don't know. Can Ricardo Rodriguez play piano? He needs to manage somebody else now.
That's very, very true. So on his way out, Antonio Cesaro comes out, and he comes out to apologize to Byron Staxton. Asked Byron to come up to the stage.
Classy move.
Yeah,
he
Byron,
knows he crossed the line.
Very reluctantly. I don't know why he was so reluctant about it. You know?
I would be.
Oh, come on, man.
Are you kidding me?
Byron was a wrestler. He should know. He should be okay.
He's reluctant because
but I mean,
once you transition into another role, man, you lose that steam, and suddenly a punch feels like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. Well. Anyways, Byron goes over to him very reluctantly, and Cesaro says, "I'm sorry," in 5 different languages. So apologizes 5 times to him.
And clearly,
Byron
should have forgiven him.
Yeah, well, Byron wasn't really into it.
You can only take what you're given. He was giving an apology, so he sort of took it. I mean, you're not going to insult a man who just tried to beat you.
I mean, I think it was still Byron was a little insulting. I mean, I think he could have been a little more like, okay, man, I accept your apology. Cesaro was coming out and putting his heart out there. He
had some trepidation.
Yeah, there was a little bit of trepidation. I mean, I would have taken that as an insult personally. So
I like that he was reluctant to do the whole "We the People" thing because that's like in normal life, if you saw this person who was racist and, you know, like in this racist group, I wouldn't want to
click your heels, throw
do
your
what
hand in
they
the air.
asked
I'm
me
not
to do.
doing that.
Yeah. So it's just solidifying Byron's character.
Of course. So
Yeah.
they do the We the People. Byron is not really into it, and Cesaro says, "Is this funny to you?" Attacks Byron, starts choking him, screaming at him, "Where's Regal? Where's Regal?" Tells him he's useless and just slaps him.
All a ploy to get Regal out. He
Slaps his face.
kept looking to see if he could lure Regal out of hiding. This was all a ploy.
Did not happen though.
No, didn't work.
So, yeah, we shall see. But it looks like we're gonna see more of Antonio Cesaro in NXT, which is good, which makes me happy. Anytime I
He's
can
there
see him.
every freaking week.
He's on every
oh my
show.
Gosh.
He's
on everything.
I think they like him because he's everywhere.
Yeah, he can do everything. He's awesome. We get an interview from last week. Sami Zayn says that Adrian Neville's just a better man, but he's still coming for that title. And out of nowhere, Leo Kruger comes and just clocks him. And
Nice
says,
and hard. You can hear that pop.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Nice to knock it off.
Speaking of Leo Kruger, he takes on the returning Tyson Kidd.
Tyson Kidd looking good.
Tyson Kidd
real
looking
good.
really good.
Yeah.
Started off on fire in this match. Just a lot of offense.
Like a good chunk of the match was given to just Kidd's offense. He came back hot because, as they showed, there was an altercation between Kidd and Kruger.
Yeah, it's been almost a year
when Kidd was out with that leg injury. So I think that altercation festered, and Kidd was ready to definitely
almost a year. It's been festering. So he was ready to take it out on Mr. Kruger.
Oh yeah.
I'm really surprised they haven't used Tyson Kidd more since he got cleared from his injury, because I mean they used him a couple weeks ago on Raw and the match was great, and then we really haven't seen that much of him.
Maybe they're taking it slow. With some injuries, you can't just start running off the starting block. You gotta kind of ease your way.
You would think with all the success of Total Divas and him being a main plot point and main character, that they would want to use him as much as possible right now, whether it's in matches or backstage segments or whatever it is. Even just accompanying Natty to the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We can't tell them what to do, and they have their own reasons for doing everything.
Yeah, I have no idea why they haven't used him more.
Yeah.
But anyways, he's just on fire until Kruger hits that. I love using this move, that knee, that kind of knee breaker hyperextension.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't even. I call it like a knee stunner.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah,
that's the only way to describe it.
Yeah, it's an awesome move. It really hyperextends that knee.
And that would actually work. That is a legitimate move.
I've used it.
Definitely harm somebody with that.
You've got to be very careful. Doing that. So Kruger takes him out. Sami Zayn comes out though during this match, distracts Leo Kruger, and Tyson Kidd hits like a modified O'Connor roll to win this.
Yep, managed to sneak him while he wasn't looking.
Yeah. It's kind of a combination of the O'Connor roll and what I know is a bitch roll. I don't know. That's how I
know that one.
I was, where you hook the person's on the ground and you hook your feet under their armpits and then roll them over. Standing, you're standing, then you sit down and you roll them over.
I know that roll. I just have never. I don't know who told you that it was called that.
It actually was someone who was in NXT. So yeah.
All right,
I think that's what the that's the only thing I've known
really
it.
Funny.
Yeah, I think that's who told me that, but that's the only thing I've ever known it as. I'm like, there's got to be a better name than that because I hate saying that. Especially when I'm teaching 10-year-olds and on Saturdays. Like, okay, here's this.
This is the witch roll.
Call it the B-roll.
The B-roll.
The B-roll. There we go.
That's funny.
That'll work. We're in Hollywood. Let me see. We next get Hunico and Camacho talking.
Hold on.
I'm sorry. Whoa, hold on.
I really like Kruger's heat on this.
Okay, yes.
Kruger
you know what? You're right.
Kid.
I wanted to talk about that as well.
He changed it. He was stopped all the silly business and was very serious in that ring.
I like his work. I like his in-ring work a lot. Like, I was watching the same thing, watching his Heat, and just like, man, because I remember when he wrestled Consequences Creed, what's his name? Xavier Woods.
Yes.
He worked the arm, and he kept working this arm bar, and I was like, he's really good at like Alberto Del Rio is, but he does different, or Kruger does different body parts, you know, choosing a body part and working it, that old school style. He's really good at that. It's just some of the character stuff that he's not scary enough to me. But
he dropped the character in this.
So,
he really did.
Yeah.
He seemed to, because he was quiet, he was methodical, and he just picked his part on Kid and worked it. He looked like a hunter going after prey.
Right.
And that's what he should be.
Yes.
I think
agree.
he was what he should have been. And he also looks like Al Snow. Almost spitting.
He does. He does look a lot.
And I just noticed that last night.
Yeah, I guess Al Snow, and then Ron D. Moore, who is the writer for the new Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like Al
Weird
Snow as well.
But yeah, I thought it was actually, he did a lot better this week, Kruger.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see it.
Hunico and Camacho say that nothing is given to them. They take everything, and next week they'll take the titles from the
They grew up in the
Ascension.
barrio homes.
And they said a whole bunch of other stuff that I didn't understand. So
In
Something about the
Spanish.
gold. They're going to get all the gold.
Yeah.
All the oro, all the gold.
Yeah.
Unico is doing double duty now
Sin Cara?
because
I knew I recognized that tattoo.
Yep.
I went on Twitter and I'm like, who is this? I know that tattoo.
Yeah.
we had confirmation last week or during Monday Night Raw. A couple of people tweeted in about Unico's tattoo as Sin Cara, and then also the real Sin Cara checked in on
Mystico,
Foursquare in Mexico.
Yeah,
So-
during the match.
I guess the tale of two Mysticos has finally come to an end.
And I'm hearing that Hunico may just be doing this temporarily until they
how
put
could they
somebody
switch
else in. They may be putting
okay.
a
Now
permanent person from NXT in.
people aren't that dumb. Sin Cara now has a tattoo. How can you go? You got to get somebody with a matching tattoo.
Well,
I mean,
they did it before.
Yeah, or let's just throw Samurai Del Sol in there and just make him the new Sin Cara.
I
He
heard
has a
of it-
different tattoo.
Different
It's
tattoos,
garbage.
and he's even shorter now.
Details.
Have you heard if they let him go officially?
I hadn't heard if they let him go or not, but
I
Someone
heard
sent
it-
me a couple people tweeted me that.
Yeah, this
rumors
has
that
got to
he-
be pretty much next to official.
Yeah,
It
I
really is.
heard his contract is up in January, so my guess is they may just be waiting out his deal to
I mean, the
expire.
man's toy had a sling. How exactly? How over are you with the company when your toy is injured?
They clearly want to continue this
Yeah.
character, so
Yes.
I don't think they're gonna let it go.
No, they didn't. I read that they feel, and I agree with them, that they feel that this is a case of where the performer failed and not the character. And I agree with them because Sin Cara
Yes.
sells great merchandise. I mean,
They
the
put a lot of
merchandise is
thought
great.
into Sin Cara.
Yeah,
They gave him
they
this
did.
this aura and this sort of just this unique thing.
Yeah.
And it really connected with the fans.
just-
but the guy behind the mask
Dislocates
was-
his fingers and quits.
Yeah. I showed that to somebody the other day, and they were very surprised.
Yeah. When his boss ripped his quad and finished the match. So,
Yeah.
you know, you finish.
Some people don't have that the show must go on type mentality.
Yeah. Some
They
people.
just don't.
Some people are just
Some
collecting
people
a
are
paycheck.
not Aiden English.
Yeah.
Right.
Some
Exactly.
people are just collecting a paycheck. You know, and I mean.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we get our main event of the evening. Bo Dallas defending his NXT championship, the longest reigning NXT champion of all
That's
time.
crazy. I mean,
At this point,
how
There's
many
only,
have there been?
He's
3?
number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's up to 190 some odd days.
Yeah, something like that. Taking on Adrian Neville, who I'll tell you, man, I'm getting more and more impressed with this guy.
How
every
can you
time
not
be?
I
Gosh.
see
Are you blind?
The
him.
flips, kind of. I mean, I get where A-Rai was going with the man that gravity forgot and then remembered again thing, but
Yeah.
it was
And I'll tell you, like, for me,
You know what?
Too many
Don't
times.
explain it.
the flips and
it's-
stuff is impressive to me, but as a wrestler, I'm honestly looking at his footwork and the way the guy moves around the ring is so solid. Take away
gosh.
all his moves, the dude is solid in the ring. He's just his movement is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, the flips, like, It's ridiculous. I can't even.
She likes the flips.
It looks cool.
No
It does
one
look
else.
cool.
No
I'm
one
not
else does
saying
it like that.
No one else
Nobody.
does. It's
Those
it's
back
phenomenal.
handsprings, continuing back handsprings, hits
That-
the turnbuckle.
okay.
Flying crossbody.
So let's get into this.
I'm
Neville tries to get this going at first, and I like that. Neville tries to get it going, and Bo keeps slowing things down. You know, Neville hits a big series of moves, slows it down until he hits all those flips that Cathy likes. And I want to talk about that is all those handsprings he hit into the crossbody, that reverse crossbody off the second rope, which is a scary. Like, I'm scared to do that move. I haven't figured out how to do that properly yet. That's not easy.
And he went far with it. Usually with that, you can only get so much momentum in the turn. Like, you sort of go maybe a quarter of the way to a third across the ring. He went halfway across the ring. He propelled himself.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean,
and just those handspring. I mean, he hit like 3 of them, and it's like bump, 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 bump. It's so beautiful to watch.
It really is.
It is. It's incredible.
It's poetic.
It is. It is. It's, as Gorilla Monsoon says, it's poetry in motion.
It is.
You know?
He is main roster because everything he does is big. The people in the cheap seats will definitely appreciate him for all that he does.
He's a tank. Yeah. He could be almost like the new Jimmy Snuka.
Pretty much.
You know, that kind of big, stocky, high flyer. I mean, he's not as big as Jimmy was. Jimmy was a lot taller.
Yeah.
But you know, have that kind of style.
But he's built.
Yeah.
He grows out. I mean, looking at himself in the ring and me, I'd say we're maybe about the same height, but he definitely grows out.
If I was 5 and I saw him, I would sign up for gymnastics classes immediately.
I want to sign up for gymnastics right now.
Yeah. At one point, like, so Bo's trying to slow things down, and Bo eventually cuts down Neville with a vicious forearm. But at that moment, the ring cover fell off on one of the turnbuckles.
Middle turnbuckle. Like, what? What?
So I don't know what's going on because the same thing happened the last time Bo wrestled with Sammy.
That
and
we know was
real. And that ended up working its way into the match. I was expecting the same thing to happen here. I'm like, do we have like a secret ring crew member that's like rigging the ring for Bo?
He's got gremlins.
But then nothing
happened.
But I mean,
I don't think that was meant to happen this time.
Yeah,
but
I don't
how
know.
often does that happen in real life?
Yeah, never. And so not without like going and actually having to mess with those and take those off. That those are usually on pretty tight.
And it looked like it was tied, and maybe the knot just came out.
They tie theirs, but the majority ones like I see on the indie scenes are zip tied.
Right.
You can't get those things off
that's
without cutters.
Pair of snips. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the ring cover falls off, and then Bo basically works a really nice cravat. He has a very nice cravat actually. That I was looking. I was very impressed by that.
You like his cravat?
I like his cravat. Yes, it's a very good move. I was working on a cravat in practice last night.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. My cravat is not as good as Bo's.
Well, it takes practice. I think
it does
you may
take
be doing
practice.
This a little bit more.
A little bit longer than I have.
A cravat's a tight hold, man.
Yeah, it is.
It squeezes your head and your neck. You really start to feel that.
He really
pressure.
Gets that thing locked in too. I mean, that is a nice tight hold he's got on there, so it's really good. Bo eventually goes for a knee off the second rope with the knee pad down.
Why would you do that? I know it's high risk, high reward, but if you take you expose your own knee in a move like
this
that,
ain't the guy to do it against.
No,
not the guy.
Adrian Neville is completely
quick as a hiccup, as Jim Ross would say.
That's right.
No. So Bo misses that. Neville makes a comeback and hits that corkscrew dive out onto the floor.
Bo catches him, crotch to head. That looked like it hurt.
Gets a 2 count eventually. Then he goes back up to the top and hits a cross body off the top to the floor
on his head.
I'll bet. Everybody's glad that was the last move. That looked like it hurt.
I'll tell you.
That'll end a match. That really will.
The last 30 seconds of the match, I mean, before Neville crawled back in the ring, whoa.
Yeah. I'll tell you, until you've actually had the experience of climbing up to the top rope and then looking down to the floor, you have no idea how high that is. Like, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's pretty high, and I think it could do that. When you were up there, it's like you get up there and go, oh, I got to get down.
You might as well be on top of a building. It's so high. It just feels like you're on the top of a skyscraper. You wouldn't dare jump.
No, it's insane. I have never done that. I've never jumped to the floor from. I've been up there and looked down. I'm like, no way. This is the Jeopardy question: is what's a move Ryan Clum will never do? Jump off this thing.
It just goes to show the stakes have to be high for somebody to pull out something like that, because it's definitely a scary and dangerous move.
Every single time you do something like that, you can easily break a leg, snap your knee, do something. I mean, it is high up there. So
and the ground is an unforgiving surface.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention, it wasn't in the match, but I just wanted to say, if you guys noticed, the announcer for tonight, Veronica Lane, one of their new Diva girls.
I did not notice her.
I knew it wasn't the girl from last time.
So,
but she's also been wrestling as well. So.
Right. So, anyways, we're back to the action outside. They're both down, both trying to get back into the ring to beat the 10 count. And Bo is very smart here, if you notice. Bo is trying to get in to be the sole guy to get into the 10 count. But the minute he sees Neville sneak in, he lets go and dumps off and saves his title. You know, when you're the champion, it's not just about winning matches. It's about defending your title. You know, when you're trying to build, it's all about winning matches, winning matches, winning matches. When you become a champion, it's about defending that title and keeping that.
And it makes people hate him, which makes them more of a heel.
And you don't always have to win to defend that title. And it was a smart move by Bo.
Yep.
I don't know that a face would have done, or a baby face.
No, of course not. Oh no, it's a heel move. No, it's a full-on heel move.
A good guy will fight to the end, but a bad guy, when he sees a slight advantage like that, will definitely pull back in order to retain his championship.
What is it that Jesse Ventura used to always say? Like, win if you can, something if you must, but always cheat.
Yes.
I forget how that.
Like, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Something.
It's only cheating if you get caught.
Absolutely. And this wasn't cheating. Bo Dallas did not cheat.
No, he did not cheat.
He made a calculated decision to keep the title and lose the match.
Yeah, and a lot of people might consider that cowardly.
Yeah.
You know, and you can definitely argue that, but you know, he's still the champion.
That's
he's still
why
getting a big
he
paycheck.
has the championship.
Absolutely.
He's there, and you're here, and he's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, what do you guys think? MVP of the show? Who was the star of tonight?
I would say tie between Natty and Paige.
If you have to pick one,
and,
no ties.
And Neville. Okay.
You mean man, you.
I know, it's terrible. I'm gonna pick one as well. So
I'm gonna say Paige.
Okay, I think that's a great one.
I say Natty. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she shook off the brand of a diva, the mark of a diva, which has such a stigma to it, and showed that she can go.
Yeah. And you could probably argue that she probably led that match as well.
She may have.
So
she did so many aerial counters, so many flips.
Phenomenal.
To her. My
I'm gonna have to go with Neville just because I've been so into his work as of late, but Paige I almost went with. I actually was gonna go with Paige until you selected Paige, so I had to go with Neville.
You don't want to copy my
I don't want to copy you. I don't want to copy you, you know. So anyways, I think that's it for us this week. Cathy, Kelley, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Catherine Kelley, and then here at AfterBuzz doing a bunch of different shows, including Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
I'm on the Twitter at True Hobo, and this Sunday I will be in Port Hueneme for the Percy Pringle III Memorial Cup Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
And, big show. Real big show.
Oh, wait, can I say?
Oh, yes.
Win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat is what Jesse Ventura said.
There you go.
Yes.
And you can find me at Cluminator. You can find me on YouTube. I have a bunch of matches up, / Ryan Clum, and I will be, I think I'll be at Port Hueneme. I'll at least be there. I believe I will see if I get in the Percy Pringle Cup or not.
Hey.
But it'd be awesome. So, anyways, we'll see you guys next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.